In this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly why you need to be prepared for the 2025 crash in crypto, what it is, why no one sees it coming, and what you can do to prepare yourself. So if you have no idea that there's going to be a crash and you don't know what to do, watch this video. This will help you. All right, guys, so a dark crash is coming. I'm going to explain to you exactly why. Now, most people don't really know about this, to be honest. They haven't really spoken about it. And it's a little bit surprising to me. I'm obviously on crypto Twitter a lot. I'm in a lot of crypto circles, and this doesn't get discussed enough. So we're going to go through it now, and we're going to go through why you have to be prepared. So corporate dangerous leverage. Now, we all know Mr. Michael Saylor here. He's been in crypto for a long time now, and it's his strategy is he basically borrows money and then he buys Bitcoin. It's very, very simple. And a lot of other companies have started doing this recently. It's a little bit dangerous, to be honest with you. It means that if Bitcoin's price dips for whatever reason, these companies are vulnerable. And it could lead to a cascade in Bitcoin prices. So think about it, right? Price of Bitcoin goes down for whatever reason. Companies would start needing to sell their Bitcoin in order to cover the interest on the loan. And it honestly feels a little bit like 2008 housing crisis, if you remember, with people starting to sell. The prices went down, people sold their house, and then it kind of caused a cascade. So there's a lot of leverage, is what it's called, in the system right now, and no one's really talking about this. So if Bitcoin carries on going higher from here, and then we start to see a dip, I am going to be a little bit concerned, to be honest with you. So the Fed cutting rates and hidden risks. So the biggest catalyst, in my opinion, for the next rally is the Fed cutting rates, and this isn't necessarily a good thing. I'll explain to you exactly why. I'm friends with the very top of the industry. I know the guys that know friends in the VC firms. They're the guys doing the top analysis in crypto. And they all tell me Fed cutting rates is the next major narrative. And this isn't necessarily a good thing because historically, it's signaled deep economic trouble ahead. They wouldn't cut the rates unless they needed to cut the rates because there was a problem. So it's like applying a band-aid into a large wound. And historically, we typically get a prolonged bear market after cutting rates, just like we did in the dot-com crash, just like we did in the global financial crisis, just like we did in 2018 and 2022. So I'll explain to you what happened. The Fed cut rates around here. Oops, a daisy. Actually, we're going to go through what happened in the dot-com crash. So Fed cut rates here. We had a short-lived rally in the markets, which is what I believe is going to happen with us. And then because it signaled deep economic trouble, everything just started crashing after that. So you've got to be very careful. It's almost like an end game indicator. So the Fed cut rates, markets rally briefly, and then the Lehman Brothers collapse, panic freeze and liquidity freeze, global markets crash. So it may not be as extreme as 2008, because 2008 was an extreme example, but I think it's still going to be really bad. So it's worth keeping an eye on this. So, inflation volatility and Fed uncertainty. So as you know, in COVID, we had an insane amount of money printing. And, persistent inflation could cause the Fed to rapidly reverse course, tighten the monetary policy again. So it's exactly what I said, the reverse Uno. So like I explained to you before, the Fed cuts rates, we get a short-term rally, and then we get a tightening of money supply because they realize, shit, inflation's out of control. We need to get this under control. So then they tighten the rates, the market goes to shit. This is exactly what happened in 2022 after the 2021 bull market, and it's going to happen again. So you got to watch out for that. So same thing happened in 2018 as well. Liquidity crunch and dollar strength. So as you know, during COVID, we had an insane amount of money printing. We're seeing the same thing happen now. Persistent inflation could cause the Fed to tighten monetary policy again. What would happen if they tighten monetary policy again? Just like I mentioned, stronger dollar equals risk off behavior equals capital flight out of crypto. That's exactly what we saw 2022. This is what I believe we're going to see in 2025, near the end of 2025, maybe the start of 2026. We will see. Peak euphoria and exhaustion. Things aren't going to go up forever, guys. How many times have you heard people saying this is going to be, the market, the bull market to end all bull markets? They call it the super cycle. It's a load of bullshit. It's not going to happen. Markets are cyclical by nature because when all the good news has been priced in, fresh buys vanish, prices stall, momentum reverses, and crypto is one of the most reflexive asset classes there is. What does a reflexive asset class mean? It means that it has really high highs and really high lows. The price difference between the peak and the trough is really fucking large. So it's important to internalize this concept that applies to every single coin. Listen to this. When all good news is priced in and everyone that will buy has bought at current prices, the only place the asset can go is down. Read that again. If all good news is priced in and everyone that will buy has bought, the only place the asset can go is down. This is why it's a good thing that not everyone is fully bought into the Bitcoin narrative yet. Because if everyone in the world, if every taxi driver, if every grandma, if every mother, if every father, if every sweet street cleaner believed Bitcoin was the best asset for them to hold, and they all bought Bitcoin, then the only place it could go is down. Does that make sense? So this is why I say when you're early to a narrative, you're going to be misunderstood. People aren't going to know what you mean. They're not going to understand. That's the point. That's why you're early. That's why you've got to have conviction when you're confused. Confusion is good. So you want to make sure you've taken some profit near the top. And I will do a top signal video soon explaining all of it. Okay? So once there's no more good news and everyone that will buy has bought, the only way it can go is down. Okay? And this is why near the tops, you get your mother telling you she should buy Bitcoin. You get your fucking barber telling you he's just bought. It's because everyone that will buy has bought. And each cycle, there are more people that will buy. So like it becomes less reflexive, if that makes sense, as an asset class. Panic selling and liquidation cascade. When people are scared because the chart is stalling, all good news has been priced in, people start selling, we start to see panic selling and big liquidation cascade. This is made worse by having a lot of leverage in the system, like we talked about before. So fear-driven selling leads to margin calls, leads to forced liquidations, and this is a vicious downward spiral. So that's another reason why. And a little summary of what to watch for. So look it up, guys. Increased corporate borrowing and Bitcoin leverage, the Fed rate cut signaling hidden economic weakness, a sudden liquidity crunch or dollar rally. This is what's going to cause the crash of 2025. And the way you protect yourself is keep cash at all times. If you're exposed to crypto, don't have any stable coins, then consider taking profits when your coins next pump. Hold stable coins, take profits. We're not at the start of the cycle anymore. So the higher we go from here, the riskier it becomes. And you will need stables to buy at the bottom of the bear market. Stay tuned for my top signal video because that's going to come out soon. And have a lovely day, guys. Bye-bye.